guys, welcome to Tony's Tech Talk. This is the special Google I/O episode, and boy do we have one hell of an episode. Google fit in about 2.5 hours worth of a keynote, and I think it was only scheduled for 2 hours, and they gave us a whopping amount of announcements, a little bit of swag for the event goers, but I gotta say I was very excited. Pre-Google I/O, talking about all the different possibilities of what could come from Google and their developers, and what developers out there, such as yourselves, or maybe someone that you know, could take advantage of. And I don't know, maybe this is me just being more of a Google fanboy over iOS and that sort of thing, but I really do feel that Google is pushing the envelope with innovation of all the different screens, and now obviously even on your watch. So let's go ahead and start with something that we were kind of thinking that the Nexus program was going to go away, that it was going to be replaced with something called Android Silver, and it looks as though that's not going to be the case. In fact, Android Silver was just a code name for a new program called Android One. Android One is going to help manufacturers essentially build lower-end devices, like low-cost devices, for emerging markets that of such, maybe South Africa, or Africa rather, parts of India, other parts of Asia. We here in the United States, we are spoiled. Like when a new phone comes out, if it doesn't have 13-megapixel camera minimum, we don't care. But there are some other countries out there where a 2-megapixel camera, or just a screen that has really nice resolution, is all that they really care about. The other necessities are an FM radio, or quite possibly even, or as noted here, a dual SIM. So this right here, I guess the head of Android and Chrome, Sundar Pichai, introduced the first, or one of first, devices that are going to be Android One, and this is a model from Micromax. And again, we don't, here in the States, we're not familiar necessarily with Micromax, but they also are partnering with Spice and Carbon Mobile, to bring these types of lower-end devices to their customers. So dual SIM, SD card, FM radio, and most importantly, like I mentioned here, it's going to be under $100. Now, we've seen a lot of competitiveness from the likes of Microsoft, and now even Nokia, or I guess now Microsoft, has their Android phone, the X2, which is also just around a little $100. And of course, it's not running anything Google. It's all Microsoft properties. You've got OneDrive, you've got maybe some like lower end variant of Office to do some Office documentation. You've got Hotmail or Outlook, but for those people that are looking for an Android experience, but they might want a Windows entry point, this is one way to do it. There's the Firefox mobile. So it's getting to be a very convoluted space, and now Google's really trying to take reins and say, this is what it should be. These are the guidelines that we would recommend to help acclimate new users to smartphones, and just make it a much easier experience and ease of use going from a simple dumb phone to a smartphone. So that was really cool. So yeah, the whole concept and idea that Nexus is going away, well, I don't think it is. I mean, they kept saying Nexus. They kept saying like all these announcements that I'm going to talk about correlate and coincide with Nexus, or Nexi, whatever. And I'm not to say that that really is a premonition or prediction of anything, but I mean, they did mention Nexus quite a number of times. And although LG, I guess their global VP, or the person who deals in the mobile phone, they did mention that Google has not yet approached them about building another Nexus. That's really up to Google. And in their pipeline, from LG's pipeline, they don't have a Nexus device in their roadmap. But that's what they said last year, and then we got the Nexus 5. So, yeah, I still think we're going to see a Nexus device. In terms of like the higher end, higher echelon Google Play devices. I think that's what we have with the Google Play Experience devices. I mean, we have the LG G2. I think that's one of them. I know there's a Sony Xperia Z on there. There's the Samsung Galaxy S4, and then obviously the HTC devices. So those are like the flagship phones, and that's essentially Google Silver. I mean, that's kind of what we thought Google Silver was. I don't know why we convoluted it with this other kind of, I don't know what we thought it was going to be, but I think that's going to continue as is. Kind of throwing it in there also with hardware, we didn't see any kind of new tablet. I know there's an HTC tablet kind of floating around out there. It's a 9-inch tablet, but you know, this is an I/O event. Tablet announcements and phone announcements, this isn't really the place to announce it. It's the place to give them away, but it's not really the place to announce those particular devices. But moving on, one big thing that Sundar Pichai told us, I said essentially yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on whatever it is that you're watching this, maybe even 3 days ago, 4 days ago, was the next version of Android. He's going to preview the next version of Android, and it's going to be the letter L. Or I guess maybe for you guys, no, it's that for you. It's this for me. So the letter L, and we were like on the edge of our seats. Like, is it going to be Lollipop? Is it going to be Licorice? Is it going to be Laffy Taffy? I mean, what could the L be? And they didn't say anything. They just kept referring it to Android L. So we're still kind of guessing. We're still kind of speculating what exactly they could call it in the fall. But we have some idea of what it comes with. So, oh my God! Sorry, hold on. There we go. So we have some idea what it could come with. So the biggest new thing is material design. So if I go here, I think I skipped ahead. But material design is a whole new design language, which we kind of already seen with the Google Plus application on Android. So please no ad, please no ad, please no ad. Okay, here we go. I'm going to mute this because I know you guys can't hear it, and it's just kind of driving me nuts. Okay, so it kind of looks a little iOS-y because it has that flat feel, but one thing they really wanted to bring home was it has depth. It has the ability to stretch and to shrink, something that iOS can't do. And this design language is going to work not only on the mobile devices, like phones and tablets and the watch, but also your desktop, your TV screen. I mean, this is something that is going to be, it's going to have that continuity of design everywhere you go as long as it's a Google property. So thank you to The Verge for throwing that up there. But these are some design photos here. This is an idea of what the, let me just pause this. This is an idea of what the calendar is going to look like, what your Gmail could look, well, not could, it is going to look like this. And one thing you'll notice at the bottom, we have these 3 new icons. Now, Google, I know Jason Howell from Twit, he asked one of the members on the Android team, like, which one is it? Are we going to see on-screen keys, or are we going to see physical keys? And it really is up to the OEM to kind of give them that option. But as a developer, you would have to give the option to, or just by default turn it off, turn the on-screen controls off if it has the physical buttons. Or you could be like OnePlus and, you know, put that as one of the options in the setting. So yeah, it looks kind of kiddish. That was one thing, the first thing I kind of saw, like, I'm not sure if I like it. It's a little too pastel-y, and it looks like iOS 7, you know, but like iOS 7 grew on me. I'm sure this will grow on me as well too. If you go to, I think the website is, yeah, google.com/design. There's a bunch of different design kind of examples, and this is the material design. So as you can see, there's the shading, and there's a bunch of simple code that developers can add to their existing or new applications to take advantage of material design. And I believe the SDK for material design will be available, if not right now, end of day, probably tomorrow. So although it looks flat, you have a bunch of layers, and it, you know, looks and feels almost 3D-ish, depending on how you're interacting exactly with the application. So material design, I think the best way to see it is to see it in action. So do what I did and go to YouTube, type in your favorite Android blogger aside from us that actually got to go to I/O, and I think Fandroid has a good kind of example of how to interact with material design and the new Android L. But yeah, this is exciting, you know. I mean, this is Android 5.0. There's no question it's 5.0. This would be kind of silly just to do a point update to 4.5. So this is 5.0 because this is going to be a change not only on the phones and tablets, but also, like I mentioned, on all screen sizes, including computers and TVs. Also, one thing too, kind of part of Android L is the ability. Oh, this is the same video. But a part of Android L is essentially the ability for you to get a text message on your phone, and you would have a notification pop up on your Chromebook. They did keep on saying Chromebook, so I don't know if hopefully they would have some sort of Chrome extension in the future. So if you have an Apple laptop or a Windows laptop, that you'd still be able to get those notifications. I mean, I get Google Now notifications now. I don't see why they would limit that. But yeah, they did mention that if you have your phone near your Chromebook, you get an email or rather a text message or even a phone call, you'll get a notification on the screen of your computer letting you know. And that's definitely very helpful, especially if you have your phone on silent and or you don't feel the vibration in your pocket, or maybe it's in your bag. Like, oh, it's kind of an important phone call. It's from my son or my daughter's school, whatever. And so again, there's kind of that continuity that Apple brought. Now Apple kind of went the extra step, and you can actually interact with the text messages and phone calls right from the computer itself. This kind of is making you go and dig in your bag to kind of find your phone before the school hangs up on you. But in any event, this is steps in the correct direction. I was kind of thinking that maybe this would also be steps in announcing that Google Voice and Google Hangouts are one, but no, that's not the case. That's not happening. As of right now, as a recording right now on June 26th, 1 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, that is not the case. Another thing with Project L, if I'm not mistaken, and it's kind of correlates to your watch and things like that, but it would be able to sense how close you are in proximity to your other Android L devices. So if you had an Android Wear watch or whatever Android Wear headband, it knows that you're by your computer. So instead of having to type in your password or swipe your fingerprint, as my computer does here, it'll say, oh, it's Tony, and it'll just unlock for you, or it'll unlock your phone. And there's a lot of privacy, a lot of security questions about that, but it's cool. I mean, it's a step in the direction that, okay, let's just see how this works in the real world. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the Googlers are dog fooding, and if you don't know that term, basically it means that the Google engineers have to try their own products and services in their own time. So, if it works for them, it's a higher probability that it's going to work for other people. Now, that may or may not be true, but it's better for them to test it rather than throw it on us without trying it out for themselves. They also updated the Roboto font. So I mean, there was a bunch of stuff with Android L that they announced, and again, if you go to The Verge or Fandroid, there are a lot more screenshots that you can look at and kind of parse, if you will. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how developers are going to acclimate themselves with this, if they're going to be scared about it. I mean, it's not new language. It's not like when Apple announced Swift. It's just a new design. And we saw a new design with ice cream sandwich and a little bit kind of with Jelly Bean. And if you notice with this new design, there's no more hamburger menu. I mean, those 3 lines, which basically meant like those were your options, You don't have that anymore. So what do? Well, and this is going to explain it to you, and it's going to do it in such a beautiful way that you get these animations and ripples, and it's like, oh, this is actually a nice experience. Now, that could also drain your battery. So Project Volta, which was named by the same team that named Project Butter, Project Volta is an initiative by Google to kind of have underlining battery-saving methods and techniques, even possibly a battery saver mode, which would elongate your battery use for maybe another 90 minutes that maybe you didn't have before in Android 4.4 or 4.3 or whatever. So cool, that's awesome. So yeah, I think I pretty much exhausted everything that I can remember when it comes to Android L or Android 5.0. Just kind of peeking through here. Also, part of Android is the ability to multitask between your apps and Chrome tabs. So what I mean by that is if you look at your Android phone right now and you hold down the recently opened up applications, it's going to show you all your recently opened up apps. I mean, that's what it does. But if one of those apps happen to be Chrome and you have multiple tabs within Chrome open, then you have to go into the Chrome app and then go into the tab section to separate all those tabs. And it's not a bad thing, but it's just a few steps that maybe some people just don't want to take. I mean, you don't take that when you are using your computer. When you use your computer, you see all the tabs as well as all the applications. Now, I'm using Windows, so that's kind of where my hand is gesturing. But it's all right there. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to Netflix, and I'm going to go to this website, and I'm going to have this open at the same time. And on the phone, it really doesn't do that because, well, we have limited real estate. I mean, the screen is as big as the screen can be, 6.1 inches for some. But in any event, what they are devising is the ability for you to have, within the recently opened up apps, interwoven into that, Chrome tabs. So you'll have all your Chrome tabs open up as well as all your other open up applications. So you can switch between the one Chrome tab that is USA Today to CNN.com to Hotmail.com and then go to Netflix and then go back to Tumblr.com and then go to another application and then go back to LazyTechGuys.com. So, I mean, being able to do that right now, switching back between all your apps and all your tabs on your phone, it's not that seamless. And now they're saying it's going to be just as seamless. It's also going to be very convoluted if you're like me and I have 20 tabs open on my Chrome app. Now, maybe this will force me to be a little bit more diligent about Xing out or closing some of the tabs that I no longer need. But it'll be interesting to see, again, how this works in the real world, if it's going to be something that I don't like or if you guys don't like it. And let me know. Let me know if this is something that you've been really clamoring for, if you want the ability to switch and swap between apps and Chrome tabs. And because I've never heard anyone having an issue up until now. And I think Google's solving a problem that was never a problem. So, yeah. Now, one big thing that we were all waiting to see was what is Google going to talk about in the world of wearables. So we already knew, we've already seen 2 Google wearables, and they are currently on sale in the Google Play Store. If you go to play.google.com and you search for, or you don't even have to search, it's just right there, Android Wear. You can buy the LG G Watch for $229 in either black or white, or you can switch over to Samsung and get the Samsung Gear Live in black. I know they have a rose color as well too if you go to the Samsung official website, but this is going to be $199. And if you think it looks very much like the Gear, it's because it is. This is the Gear Live. We weren't quite sure, and when I say we, I just kind of mean the general tech public. We weren't quite sure if Samsung was really going to embrace Google's new Android Wear, especially after they abandoned Android for Tizen on both their original Galaxy Gear and the Gear 2 and the Gear Fit and the Gear Neo. but it looks like they are. It looks like they're going to give Android maybe one more go, and you know, they've got the cash, they've got the manpower, and they've got the time to just see what happens. You know, let's see what everybody wants. Does everyone want a Tizen-powered smartwatch that only works on Samsung devices, or do they want a cool Samsung watch that works on any Android device? And that's another thing I'm not quite sure about. If I switch back over here to the Samsung kind of FAQ regarding their Gear Live, and I can go over some of the specifications on these things, but one thing I did notice that it says here, and I'll highlight for those of you that are watching, the Samsung Gear Live is compatible with all Samsung phones running Android 4.3 Jelly Bean. All Samsung phones. So, let me ask you this. Does this mean I have to get a Samsung phone for this to work? I mean, isn't that counterintuitive to what Android Wear is all about? Android Wear basically is, if you have a Jelly Bean 4.3 phone device, this should work with that, right? Am I mistaken? Am I speaking a different language? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? But if you scroll down further past the press pictures, then it says down here, requirements. Smartphones running Android 4.3 or higher. Check compatibility at g.co/wearcheck. So, I have yet to go to wearcheck, but that's something that you can do on your own volition, on your own time. But hopefully that means that the prior sentence where it said Samsung phones, it was kind of like cut and pasted and they weren't really thinking. Hopefully the Samsung Gear Live will work with non-Samsung phones. One thing I was kind of hoping to was that this would work with non-Android devices, specifically iOS. And the reason why I think Google is going to allow this to work with iOS in the future is because we've done that with Glass and we've done that with Chromecast. I mean, these are two hardware devices that Google has created initially for Android, but then through time and through space and TARDISes and things like that, they said, okay, we'll allow iOS users to take advantage of some of the things that we have. I mean, that's Google's kind of way. I mean, they have apps on iOS. I wish they would have some more on Windows. Please. I'm just saying. So in any event, going back to the two watches, I'll just kind of run down on the main specifications on the Gwatch, and I'm calling it the Gwatch in honor of my colleague Ron Richards. So the Gwatch has an always-on display. It has a 400 milliamp battery, so not very powerful. You probably have to charge it every day, but it's color, so it's not a big deal. It is certified IP67. In fact, both of these devices are certified IP67, so that means it's water and dust resistant. It's obviously going to be able to hear you, so it has a microphone, so you can say, okay, Google, and it goes, bloop, and then you say, when's the next bus coming? And then based off of your GPS location, because it's connected to your phone, it's like, oh, the bus 7 is going to be there in such and such minutes. Also, it has a 1.65-inch display, IPS LCD. Processor is only 1.2 gigahertz, and of course, it's Bluetooth 4.0 LE. It does have 4 gigabytes of internal storage, 512 megabytes of RAM. So, I mean, it's a watch. I mean, what are you expecting? But that does mean that not only will applications on the phone be compatible with Android Wear, that means that there will be apps on the Android Wear device itself too. So, and considering it is an Android Wear device, I doubt the applications are going to be too heavy. So maybe you can have, I don't know, 15 different apps directly on the device. Maybe that also means that you don't have to have the device connected to your phone at all times. So you could leave your phone downstairs, run around the block, because that's what you do every morning, and it would still be able to calculate your steps, your heart rate, and everything. And then once it reconnects with your phone, it just kind of sends all that back up to Google Fit and whatever else. And we'll talk about Google Fit just a little bit. So that's the Gwatch. Samsung has a heart rate monitor, so that's cool. has a gyroscope, digital compass, accelerometer, 1.63-inch display, so it's a little bit smaller, but it is Super AMOLED, so it's crisper. It's 278 pixels per square inch, 4 gigs of internal memory, same kind of specifications on that. 300 milliamp battery, about 1 day use, and same processor. So, I mean, between the two, I got to tell you, between the two, if I had a choice, and I didn't go to I/O, so I didn't have a choice there. Between the two, monetarily, I would say Samsung because it's a little cheaper. It's $200 or $199, whereas the Gwatch is $229. So money-wise, right there, the $30 is a lot. I live in California. $30 is a lot. However, based off the design on the Gwatch, I kind of like the LG watch. At first, I was like, it looks too much like all the other smartwatches that are out there. But I don't know. For whatever reason, the LG watch is kind of growing on me. I think what it is for me is the white. It's got that whole white gold thing going on. So for those developers that did make it to Google I/O, they get a choice. Do they want the LG G Watch or do they want the Samsung Gear Live? Oh, and that's not all. Later on, when the Moto 360 becomes available to buy, they get that for free too. So they just have to send in a card or something, just kind of like how it was for the first Chromebook that everybody got to walk away with. They get a little coupon for it. But yeah, so I took to Twitter and I said, pardon my French, WTF? What is going on here? And I talked to everybody that I know that went there. Like, you guys don't really need the watch. You have Pebbles. You have the Qualcomm Talk watch. You don't need another watch. Just give it to me. I'll review it for you. But yeah, to no avail. Everyone's keeping their watches. But they did kind of show off the Moto 360 a little bit. I know a lot of people were a little afraid how big it is. It's really not that big. It's thick. I'm not going to lie. It's thick, but it's really not that big. And Motorola was there showing it off at their booth, but they weren't saying anything about it. In fact, when people were testing it, it was already on a demo loop. So they couldn't really test it out. So they could swipe through the on-screen notifications. They can, kind of feel the weight. And everybody that was looking at it, he said, for what it is right now, it seems like a really cool interface, and it seems like the hardware is fairly solid. And if you remember back when Motorola said a super secret way to charge the Moto 360, we can only assume at this moment in time it's going to be wireless charging. And I was watching the Phone Arena video, and I should have brought it up, but the reviewer flipped the 360 so you could see the underbelly of it, and it had this kind of circular, what looked to be the circular kind of tactile point. So it would go on top of another NFC kind of wireless charging pad, if you will, and it would charge it that way. So that's really exciting. In terms of pricing on that one, we've heard anywhere between $240 all the way up to $350. So I'm a little dubious. I'm a little scared about what that would be priced at. But as it is right now, that's the one that I have my eye on. And I know all the other developers in the room, when they heard that they were getting one, but it wasn't coming until later on the summer, everybody was so disappointed about that. But hey, y'all are still getting one, so I don't know what you're complaining about. Kind of side note, I don't know if you knew about this or if you saw the news. There were actually 2 protesters that somehow got into Google I/O. One was protesting about a Google lawyer evicted some teachers in an apartment building. So that sucks. That's sad. I don't know what the actual background story behind that is, but it's a shame. But the other lady basically said Google is building robots that's going to kill everybody and Skynet is real. So I'm not saying she's crazy, because Google is building robots essentially with Boston Dynamics and with Nest and Dropcam and everything else that under the sun. But you don't go to, well, I guess you would go to a Google event to kind of bring that. But I got to hand it to the presenter, because I heard her over the live stream, and the presenter did not skip a beat. She was not evicted, but she was kicked out from the event center, and he did not skip a beat. I think he snickered at it at one point, but he just kept on going with the presentation. So good on you, sir. You did a bang-up job on that. Another thing that came out of I/O that we were all waiting for, I know The Verge, I think it was Elias Hamburger got the scoop on Google TV. Well, now it's called Android TV. I apologize. And we were thinking that this was going to be a physical set-top box, that Google was going to say, okay, Apple has theirs, Amazon has theirs, we need ours. But instead of having a physical set-top box, Google decided to basically just create the hardware. And the hardware of the Android TV actually folds into Android L, which is really nice, because they were demonstrating with Android L the ability to control your, I guess we'll just call it your Android TV, either from your watch as through voice or through gesture controls. You can do it from your phone or your tablet. And you know, what we've seen in the past when it comes to the Android TV, it's pretty much the same thing. This is in particular really cool. This is kind of, I guess, contextual information about what you're watching, because again, this is going to be software on smart TVs, so you would be able to get contextual information off of whatever TV show that you're watching, even if you're not necessarily paying for that service from Comcast or AT&T. Also, if you prefer to use your favorite applications, you're going to be able to pull from applications such as Netflix, E24, iHeartRadio, and obviously all the Google products and everything. And as you can see down there in the bottom left-hand corner, it does say games. So they did mention the the Android TV will be compatible with controllers. And I think on stage they were either using an Xbox controller, or if I'm not mistaken, it was a Logitech controller to kind of go through the different menus, sets, and everything. And then you can go as far as saying, you know what, I want to search for a specific individual. You can say, hey Google, tell me more about who played Katniss in the Hunger Games, and obviously Jennifer Lawrence. There she is in her beautiful self. And then underneath that, it will be all the Jennifer Lawrence movies that you could maybe watch on your own volition. Or, you know, if you want to show me Breaking Bad, and it'll bring you directly to this Breaking Bad card. Everything in Android L is cards. Whether we're talking about the new Android in the car, I forget exactly what they call it, but no, Android TV. I mean, Android L is all about these flat, pastel kind of cards with depth. So if that's not confusing, go look it up a little bit more on your own. But it's, you know, I was very excited to see this, and then also they announced a bunch of partnerships with like companies, Broadcom, Sony, Sharp, and these guys are going to integrate Android TV into their TVs, into their smart TVs, if not by the end of this year, definitely by the beginning of next year. So what that means is at at CES 2015, we're probably going to see a ton of TVs with Android TV. I'm a little scared about that, because also when I went for my second CES in 2012, I saw a bunch of flat screen TVs with Google TV, and that was the big thing, and no one's using it, and it's a shame. It's also Chromecast enabled, so that, you know, if you do want to, you can Chromecast something from your phone to your Android TV. And segueing into Chromecast, one thing that they did announce was the ability to Chromecast your full screen of your phone directly to your TV. So that's cool. That's coming later on to specific phone models. I think they mentioned all the Nexus devices, all the Note devices in terms of the phone size of it. The HTC One M7, I think. I don't think the M8 was on that list. And then the LG G2 and the LG G2 Pro was on that list. And then many more to come as well too. So that's something that I've really been looking forward to, because I don't know, there's sometimes where I want to show somebody something, and it's not a picture, it's just something on my phone. Like I want to show them a cool app, and maybe where I'm having a party here or something like that. I was like, I want to show everybody the cool app, but this is such a small phone. Or even if I had a 5-inch screen. I don't want everybody crowding around me to show them. So then you could, cast it up to your TV, kind of like AirPlay. I believe you can do that with Apple devices to a certain degree. And yeah, so unfortunately that means Kosh's app called Allcast basically is null and void. But this is only going to be applicable to certain apps. So maybe you don't, or rather, it's only applicable to certain phones. So maybe you don't own that phone. So you'll still have to buy, or rather, download and root your phone to take advantage of Allcast. So maybe he's not out of business. Also with Chromecast, they did announce a new feature wherein that if a friend comes over and they want to show a YouTube video, they don't have to join your Wi-Fi network temporarily to do it. It'll notice that there's a Wi-Fi connection that is being used by YouTube at that moment in time, and then they can temporarily tap into that Wi-Fi connection and cast, Google Cast, whatever you want to call it, their YouTube video, and then you can kind of play around with the queue and everything. And then you, as the administrator, you can say, nope, don't want it, yep, nope, don't want it, yes, whatever it is that you want to do. So I didn't really think that we're going to see anything out of Chromecast, but hey, I love being proven wrong. So yeah, and then the last thing, like I said, they did officially finally announce Google Fit. So this is essentially what we thought it was going to be. They kind of mentioned it at the end, which was a little unfortunate because a lot of us were kind of hoping that we would hear a lot more. But it's very similar to Apple's new Health Kit for iOS, which is basically a platform for third-party developers and wearables to basically give data to Google in this case and help the individual figure out if they're fit, or whatever it is. That you can count your calories, track your steps, track your heart rate, and you don't have to use Android Wear to do this. You would be able to use even the likes of the Nike Fuel Band. They even have partnerships with Adidas, Runkeeper, Witherings, and Basics, just to kind of start the list going. So again, yes, Apple in a sense kind of were first to the market because they had their developer conference 2 weeks before Google did. But this is good. This is good, especially for the developers, because they can develop for both operating systems, make money off of both operating systems, and I think it's a really cool evolution because a lot of us are starting to be a little bit more in tune to health. And if we don't have to be tied down, I'm sorry, Samsung, but if we don't want to be tied down to Samsung's S Health, because now this means I can no longer get an LG device because then I have to tie myself into LG's health app, whatever it is. So now, as Google's health app, as long as I'm going to stay with Android, then that would be able to follow me no matter where I go. And so that's really cool, and it's very exciting. But nothing is really yet available to try out or to test out. Again, it's very similar to the health kit. It's all conjecture in the sense that they are doing it, but there's no demonstration of how it's really going to work. So at least I haven't seen it because unfortunately I had to leave for my day job and I didn't actually see the presentation part where they officially announced Health App. And I didn't even see the part where they announced, hey, we're giving away cardboard. So yeah, one of the last things I want to mention is they gave away cardboard, and it was kind of a joke, I guess. But then if you fold up the cardboard and everything, it's a what's called a stereograph. So basically, it's an old kind of 3D, kind of like those stereograph things where you kind of click the wheel and you saw the little thing kind of went around in a circle, and you would see different slides, and it would be in 3D. And basically Google gave that away for free, and with the respective cardboard app, you'd be able to see 3D images with this kind of makeshift VR headset. So I wouldn't call it VR. It's just stereoscopic 3D. It's cool, I don't know why what they're exactly hinting. They already pretty much said gaming on Android TV is gonna happen. I don't remember them buying a VR company anytime recently, but who knows? It would be very interesting to see them up against the likes of Facebook, aka Oculus Rift, and of course Sony with Project Morpheus. So yeah, I thought Google I/O was, at least for the keynote side of it, I thought it was a complete hit. I was very, very happy to hear what they had to say. And the unfortunate thing is, a lot of these were already leaked out, and that's always the unfortunate thing. Is like, I already know that. I already know that. Even you watching me right now, like Tony, we already know that. But that's the problem. Like, you can't turn a page without seeing a leak, and leak being probably a higher probability that it's true. It's not just a fake rumor. What we didn't really hear about too much was glass. What's going on with glass? Are we gonna get a consumer product anytime soon? I don't know. They didn't talk about it. They did update the hardware, so if you buy glass now, you have a new updated hardware. But if you bought glass last year, you're not gonna get the new updated hardware for free. So sucks to be you. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. It probably is awesome to be you. But yeah, you're just not gonna get the new version of glass. And I don't know what it includes. Maybe it comes with the little doggy. I don't know. There's also what happened with the whole home automation. Like, Nest yesterday, or rather 2 days ago, 3 days ago, on Monday, rather Tuesday. Sorry, I'm so discombobulated. Tuesday night, Sean Wilburn and I did our show, the LTG show, and we kind of talked about the whole Nest API and the developer platform, where companies like, I can only think of one at the time, but LifeX, which is that Kickstarter project, which the color-changing light bulb, and has the application, you can control it from the app and this and that. They now coincide and follow the policies of Nest. And so with a Nest app, you would be able to control your thermostat through your phone, and all through that kind of ecosystem, you'd also be able to control your lights. And then they also kind of demonstrated that through Google Now, you'd be able to say, "Hey Google, turn my lights off," or "Hey Google, okay Google," not "Hey." That's Siri. Sorry. Okay, Google, turn my lights off, or okay, Google, turn off my thermostat. So those kind of things are coming, and I was kind of hoping that they would touch on that a little bit more. But that maybe just because they didn't do it on the keynote doesn't mean that they're not doing it in a breakout session. And I know I was following a bunch of Googlers and a bunch of app developers on Google Plus, which again is something they really didn't talk about either. But I was following them on Google Plus, and there's a lot of cool things in these breakout sessions that they don't even talk about. So again, I'm not going to go on because it's just way too much that happened at Google. And this was just the first day. Did you know that they gave away Android TV from the Razer set-top box, the Android TV, to the people that actually went to the Android TV breakout session? That's cool. I mean, you had to go to the breakout session to get it, but it makes sense, right? So yeah, I know Google I/O gets this rap where you just go there for the free stuff, but it's really cool to see developers take the information and actually implement it into their apps, and us as the consumers start to see that within weeks. And it's really cool to see how it evolves over the next, I guess, 12 months until the next Google I/O. And I gotta say, I really am enjoying to see where Google is taking Android and Chrome, and all the other different screens and all the other different places that we want to, in a sense, be connected. It's a little scary with the whole Skynet talk. Yeah, it's probably to a certain degree it's already happening, but it does make our lives a little easier. You got to admit. So in any event, if that's pretty much it, let me just check the Q&A, because if you guys didn't know, the Q&A for this particular Hangout is open. So let's go ahead and look at this. Robert, hey, Robert is back. How you doing? Yeah, I don't think anyone would like Tizen. So Tizen, if you're not aware, Tizen was an open source platform developed by Samsung as well as other companies, including Intel. So it's kind of their baby. It's their kind of pet project. And right now, the first Tizen smartphone is going to be launched in Russia in I think the third quarter, and it's really nothing too scary. And in fact, if you didn't know, Tizen runs Android apps. So you could be an app developer, and next thing you know, you just, I'll just port my app over to Tizen. It's no big deal. It's just the difference. It's Samsung trying to find their foothold separate from Google. But it's a symbiotic relationship. Samsung, at this point, Samsung needs Google to stay alive in the mobile game, and Google needs Samsung because they're one of their major OEMs when it comes to the Android hardware. But yeah, when it comes to the actual watches, the everyday user's probably not going to know the difference. I mean, did you even know the Galaxy Gear changed from Android to Tizen last month? No one knew. I mean, there was an app update. It was like, okay, app update done. What's the difference? I have no idea. Does it run better? I don't know. I mean, Tizen is supposed to run better, but visually, it's the exact same thing. All right, so hopefully, I don't know if that wasn't really a question or not, but yeah, I don't think Tizen's going to go anywhere if that's one thing you're questioning. All right, Sino, how are you? I know you're over there, and I think Saudi Arabia, but yeah, hopefully you got some sleep, and hopefully you enjoyed the I/O as much as I did. So, isn't it a disappointment that Google admitted to talk about Nexus and the whole Android Silver that was rumored? Okay, so Nexus Silver, again, I want to iterate on this. Nexus Silver, we thought that Google was going to work with specific OEMs to create specific hardware for a specific demographic, and we thought it was going to be a high-end demographic, and also have individuals in retail locations explain to new buyers essentially Android. You go to the likes of, I don't know what you guys have over there, but we have Walmart. So grandma goes to Walmart and she sees something like this from Micromax. It's like, oh, that's an Android smartphone for $50 off contract. I want that. And then Google representative is right there explaining to them how that all works. And that's what Android One is, and it's for emerging markets. So if you're in India, Thailand, I don't know if Thailand's considered an emerging market, but India, I know Africa, Central Africa, or any other country where the higher-end smartphone is not as ambiguous as some of the lower-end smartphones. So right now, Google is really in a battle with Firefox Mobile, or I guess Mozilla, and the likes of Microsoft, both on the Windows Phone side and the Android side, especially with the new announcement of the X2, to really beat them and get the market share out there. We have millions of people that, they mentioned, they have millions of people that do not have smartphones, and it's kind of amazing to think about, but it's so true at the same time. I mean, talking about numbers, just so you guys know where we're at number-wise, talking about numbers, they threw out a number that was quite amazing to me. If I can find it here, 1 billion active users for 30 days. Think about that. It's over 6 billion people in the world. And on Android, we've got 1 billion active users. Now, I don't know if that means that these are 1 billion people using Google Play licensed and certified devices, because if they're not counting, and I think they're not, because he even mentioned if we counted Amazon Kindles, these numbers would be higher than they already are. Android users send 20 billion texts and take 93 million selfies per day. The scary thing is Google knows all that without you even sending it to somebody. Scary but true, I mean, I gotta tell you, today I think I took like 4 or 5 selfies just because I got a haircut. Did you guys notice? I got a haircut. But yeah, Android One is really just for the lower end market, and I think that's where we got confused with Android Silver. So is Nexus going to continue? I think it is, but I don't think this is the platform or the soapbox or the place or the venue to announce a new Nexus device. the LG VP said Google hasn't gone to them for a new Nexus device, and they don't have any plans for a new Nexus device. But they said that last year, and then we got the Nexus 5, so we'll see. Looking into this also, Robert, you're asking here, so you need to buy a new TV to get Android TV. Yes and no. That's a great point. They did mention a bunch of partners where the Android TV will be integrated into the smart TV, so that would be like Sony and LG U+, and a bunch of other ones. But they also mentioned, because this is just the software, there are already companies out there that are building set-top boxes with Android TV, and one of those companies is Razer. That's R-A-Z-E-R. And currently their set-top box with Android TV is the ADT-1. So if you go on Google or Bing or whatever your favorite search engine is and type in ADT-1 Google I/O, because you kind of want to be a little bit specific, otherwise you're going to get the alarm company. It'll show you some pictures of the set-top box that Razer announced and showed off, and that was the set-top box that a bunch of the developers got for free just by going to the Android TV breakout session. So, but yeah, no, you don't have to worry about having to buy a whole new TV. So, I don't know currently what the price is of that particular set-top box by Razer. But we're looking at a set-top box that is very much in line of Amazon and Roku, so maybe about $100. Yeah, so you know what? That is pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else that really blew me out of the water. I'm kind of scrolling through just to make sure I didn't miss anything. You can see a bunch of leaked shots, not leaked, but you can see a bunch of shots of the LG G Watch, the Gear, and the Moto 360. HTC supposedly was going to have a watch too, but as it is right now, they're not showing off a watch. And I know they said that they were going to do wearables when they announced the, I guess the M8, or they had some sort of. The VP said something like they were going to do wearables, but we still haven't seen anything from them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're interested in the Android Automotive or the Android TV, you can actually go directly to Google and you can sign up for more information. If you go to android.com/Google, you can put in your email address. I'll just show you guys right here. I'm going to do it right now. So yeah, android.com/TV. You can type in your email address, and essentially they're going to send me information about Android TV, and then you can do the same thing with the car. So Robert, to answer your question on the Google TV, no, you don't need a new TV, but with the car, I think you will need a new car, which is a shame because I just got a car, and I don't think my family would really appreciate if I went and bought a new car just because it had Android Auto embedded into it. However, I think that because, again, this is just a software platform, that aftermarket companies like Parrot or Panasonic, possibly, Philips, do they make car audio? I don't know about that. But definitely Clarion, which does a lot of the higher-end in-dash touchscreen displays, could possibly have Android Auto embedded into some aftermarket options. So maybe you could just buy one of those aftermarkets from Best Buy or Fry's, and then by that you would have Android in the car. So that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to sign up for that. Okay, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave them in the comment section below here on Google Plus or on YouTube, Lazy Tech TV. Just for you guys to know, this is take 2. I actually did this already, I want to say like 4 hours ago, but I had an audio problem and I was rushing it because I was trying to go watch Godzilla, the movie, not the real guy. There's no real Godzilla. Let me just tell you one thing.